Hi everybody, Beth Combs here with Canyon Community Yoga. Welcome to our Monday night yoga class. So we've been offering classes from 6 to 7 p.m., which has been a full hour class. But due to all the stress and the anxiety that a lot of folks have been going through with the pandemic right now, it seems like it might be a little bit more supportive for people to do a shorter class. So I'm going to shoot for about 30 minutes, and hopefully you'll still feel like you're getting a lot of benefits out of it. I can say that I've definitely, the last week or so, I've really tried to do at least 20 minutes of yoga every day, and that's really helped me just process the anxiety, the fear, the anger, all the different emotions that I have been observing in myself. And it's really, yoga has always been a tool for me to help process whatever it is that I am dealing with or going through at the time. And so I just really am honored and blessed to be able to bring this practice to all of you. And hopefully you'll feel the benefits of it. And now that you've signed up for Monday night, hopefully you've also signed up for the Wednesday night class, and we might do a shorter class again instead of an hour on Wednesday. So I'm gonna pop over to my mat behind me. And this class this evening, we've been doing some restorative classes lately. This one's gonna be a little more active. So I'm probably not gonna use all the props that I have. You'll see once I move back to my mat. But I would say at least maybe go ahead and grab some blocks if you have them. And if you don't have blocks, you can use some boxes or some books. If you don't have a yoga mat, you can even use a towel and maybe a strap or a belt. We'll see how things flow this evening and how we feel. So welcome to our class, and we'll go ahead and get started. So for tonight's class, we're gonna go ahead and start in simple cross-legged pose. And so I like to sit up on a block. So you want to make sure that you're feeling pretty supported on the block. And if this feels a little too small for you, you can also fold up a blanket and sit on that instead. The goal is you actually want your knees to be in line with your hips. So if your hips are way down and your knees are way up in the air, you really want to sit on something that's going to support you and help you be in more proper alignment. It actually makes it better for your body, better for your spine and your hips to be in alignment here. So try to find whatever you can that will help allow that to happen. And so we'll just begin. You can go ahead and you have a variety of options for your hands. You can place them in prayer at your heart center, the palms pressing in towards each other. You can just go ahead and rest your hands in your lap. You can also place your hands palms down on your thighs. And this might feel a little bit more grounding if you're feeling a little wound up or anxious today. This might be a good option for you, kind of help you connect to the earth a little bit more. Or you can flip the palms to face the ceiling. And this is great if you are feeling a little more receptive. Maybe you want to be open to love or compassion in the world. And so I would advise trying any of those hand poses or hand positions and just see what your body is kind of craving this evening. So the hope this evening is to kind of soften the monkey mind that might be going, the thoughts that are racing right now, and tune into our bodies and what our bodies are feeling as we go throughout the practice tonight. So just see if you can do that, and try not to pass judgment on yourself if you really struggle with that. It's a practice, it takes time. I still find myself being distracted, and I've been doing yoga for over 10 years now. So it's just trying to be present and trying to be in the moment a little bit more. And a great way to do that is to focus on your breathing So we're going to begin inhaling through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And exhaling through the mouth actually helps us engage the parasympathetic nervous system, which is actually our rest and digest system. So we want to be rooted down through the sits bones in our butt. And we want to lengthen up the spine, out the crown of the head, almost like you have a string pulling your head, your crown of your head towards the ceiling. Leave your chin parallel to the mat or the earth. We'll take 2 more inhales and then exhale through the mouth. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. One more time, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And again, just place your hands wherever it feels most comfortable. I invite you, if you'd like, to close your eyes. I find that this helps me focus on my practice and my body just a little bit more. You can begin inhale and exhale through your nose. Maybe you can even begin to lengthen the inhales and the exhales. Maybe you can even try Ujjayi breath, so this breath is where the exhale actually gently strokes the back of your throat. It might sound like ocean waves or Darth Vader breath. And even if you can't quite get that sound, you at least want to allow the tongue to soften from the roof of your mouth. You don't want to be sticking your tongue up to the roof of your mouth. So our theme and our focus for tonight is going to be the Sanskrit word tapas, which means to burn off the excess, to burn off the monkey mind, to help us really hone in and focus on what we really want to be working on or working towards. I think a lot of us are feeling a lot of anxiety and being pulled in a lot of different directions. And sometimes I find a flow practice really helps me to kind of feel into my body that much more and really burn off those things that I just don't really need, that I need to actually let go of. And so that's kind of what our practice will be this evening. So we're going to place our right hand down next to our right hip on the mat. We're going to inhale, lift up that left arm, and then fold over to the right any amount. Maybe turn your gaze up under your arm towards the ceiling. Then we'll inhale and we'll come back to center. And then we're going to stretch forward any amount. And you can kind of rock back and forth, side to side. You can pick up the hands like a cat if you'd like. Then we'll inhale, we'll come back up to center, and then we're going to change the cross of the legs. So you'll find that we always have a natural way we like to do things, crossing our hands, clasping our hands, crossing our legs or our knees. So it's always good to kind of change directions a little bit and kind of balance the body out more. So then we'll place the left hand down next to our left hip. Inhale, bring the right arm up alongside the right ear, and then fold over to the left. Feel free to gaze up towards the ceiling. And then we'll inhale, come back up to center, and then fold forward again. So you might notice a nice stretch through the low back. Again, feel free to rock from side to side here. In the low back, in the hip, in the glute medius. Just kind of gently waking the body up. Then we'll inhale and bring ourselves back up to seated, and then we're going to come into tabletop position. So you can remove whatever it might be that you've been sitting on. We're going to place our hands, our wrists under our shoulders, and our knees underneath our hips, and then we're going to do some cat-cow here. So we're going to inhale and lift the forehead and the tailbone. And then exhale, pull the belly button in towards the spine. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, round the back. Inhale to come up. Exhale, pull back. And then do 2 more at your own pace, following your own breath. And then we'll all meet back in tabletop position once again. And then we're going to wake up our abdominals a little bit. So go ahead and place the right fingertips out in front of you. And place your left toes back on the mat behind you. Extend that left leg. You want to pull the belly button in towards the spine. If this feels challenging, go ahead and stay right here. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you can bring the right arm up alongside the right ear. And you can also lift that left foot up off the mat. So you want to make sure you're pressing through that left heel and that your foot is in line with your hip and your right fingertips are reaching forward in front of you. Take a few breaths here. Remember to pull that belly button in towards the spine to help stabilize you. Then we'll exhale, bring everything back down to the mat. And then we'll switch sides. So left fingertips out in front, right toes back behind you. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. You can stay here, or you can lift the left arm up alongside the left ear. You can also lift the right foot up off the mat. So take a few breaths here. Then we'll exhale, lower down. And then we'll do each side one more time. Right fingertips out in front, left toes back behind us. You can stay here or lift the arm or also lift the leg. You want to be reaching in opposite directions. Exhale, lower down. Take a breath in tabletop, and then we'll switch sides. So left fingertips out front, right toes back behind us. You can stay here, or lift the left arm up And also lift the right leg up. Exhale, lower everything down. And then we're gonna just lower down into child's pose. So you can bring your shins together and lower your torso down. And you can stretch the arms out in front of you with the forehead on the mat. Or you can actually keep the big toes touching, widen the knees the width of the mat, and lower the torso down. Again, arms outstretched with the elbows lifted and forehead on the mat. You want your tailbone reaching toward your heels. So we'll inhale, we'll come back up to tabletop, and then we'll go ahead and lift ourselves up to our first downward facing dog. So from tabletop, you want to step your hands palms distance in front of you. Flip your toes so that their bottoms of the toes are now on the mat. And then you're going to lift your hips up and back towards the ceiling. Feel free to pedal your feet out here and stretch your calves. You want the weight even between your hands and your feet. You want most of the weight in your hands to actually be between your index finger and your thumb. So you make a nice L shape with your hands, with those fingers. You're going to push yourself back towards your heels. And you want to squeeze the upper arms in towards your ears. And then we'll go ahead and step the feet up to the top of the mat. Feet hip width apart, or your big toes can touch. So whichever one your hips feel better with. We're just going to fold here in ragdoll. So feel free to bend your knees if the backs of your thighs are tight, your hamstrings. You can clasp your elbows here. Shake the head no. Nod yes. Just allow that head to lengthen towards the floor. Then we'll bend the knees slightly and sweep the arms up and around. And then bring the hands down to heart center. So we're going to go ahead and set up for our sun salutations next. We're going to bend the knees just a little bit. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. So rest your hands on the sides of your shins if you need to. And then exhale and lower down to tabletop and then all the way to the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels and lift the torso up in cobra. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. Again, feel free to pedal your feet out here if you need to stretch your calves. Then we're going to inhale, step the feet up in between the hands, and lift the torso halfway up. And then exhale and fold forward. And then bend the knees and inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the arms to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, lower down to tabletop, and then all the way to the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the feet and inhale up to cobra. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. And then inhale, step the feet up to the top of the mat in between the hands. And lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale, the hands to heart center. So we're going to do one more sun salutation here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, lower down to the mat, either through tabletop or chaturanga. Inhale, lift the torso up to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Then we'll inhale, step the feet up to the top of the mat. Lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale, the hands to heart center. So we'll take a moment here, just do a little bit more side stretching. So we're going to take our right hand and place it on our right thigh. Inhale, the left arm up alongside the left ear. Bend over to the right, any amount. We'll inhale, come back up to center. Switch sides, left hand on the left thigh. Inhale, right arm up alongside the right ear, and then bend over to the left. We'll inhale, come back up to center. Go ahead and lower that hand down. And then we'll set up for some of our standing poses. So go ahead and turn to one side. And you're going to step the feet about 3 to 4 feet apart. You want to make sure the weight is even between all 4 corners of your feet here. We're going to pick up the left heel and move it away from us just a tiny amount. Pick up the right toes and rotate out at the hip joint. You want to make sure your pelvis is tracking and pointing towards the upper left corner of your mat. Keep the hips in place and then twist the torso so that it's more parallel with the mat. And then we're going to bend that right knee. We're going to make sure our torso stays in between our legs. We want our weight even between both of our feet. And we're going to bring our arms up into warrior 2. So nice T. So again, we want to make sure we've got weight all the way through the back edge of that back foot. And we've got weight in our front heel. We want our knee right above that right ankle. We're going to stretch across the collarbones and gaze down that middle finger. Then we're going to flip the right palm to face the ceiling. Place the left hand just lightly on that back left thigh and come back into reverse warrior. Then we'll inhale, come back up to center. Then we're going to bend our elbow and place it on that right leg, and then extend the left arm up alongside the left ear for extended side angle. So you want a nice line from your left fingertips all the way down to your left outer foot. And you can feel free to turn your head and gaze up towards the ceiling. Then we'll inhale, come back up, straighten that right leg. You can turn it parallel, and then go ahead and step the feet in. Shake your legs out, and then we'll switch sides here. So step the feet apart 3 to 4 feet. Pick up the right heel and move it away. Pick up the left toes, rotate them out. at the left hip socket this time. And then bend that left knee and bring the arms up to a T. Remember to breathe here. Then we're going to flip the left palm, place the right hand on the right thigh very lightly, and then come back to reverse warrior. And then come forward, rest the left elbow on the left thigh, bring the right arm up alongside the right ear, rotate the face to look up towards the ceiling. Then we'll inhale, come back up to center, straighten that left leg. You can turn the feet parallel and then step the feet together here. And then go ahead and grab your block or a blanket or a book, as long as it's something somewhat sturdy. And we're going to do just a little bit of rotation here. So step the feet apart 3 to 4 feet. Once again, let's check in, make sure we've got our weight even between all 4 corners of both feet. We want to lift the thighs up away from the knees. Place the hands on the hips. Bring the heart up towards the ceiling. Do a little bit of a back bend here, and then exhale and fold forward. Again, keep that weight in the feet pretty even. You can place both hands down on the mat. Allow your head to extend towards the floor. You can bend your knees here if your hamstrings or the backs of your legs are really tight. And then we're going to grab our block and we're going to place it underneath our nose. We're going to place our right hand below our nose. We're going to place the left hand on the left hip. And we're going to rotate to the left. So I want you to keep your pelvis in a straight line. So I don't want you knocking your pelvis over towards the left. You need to keep it in a straight line. So you're pretty much rotating from your abdominals. If you'd like, you can bring your left arm and the fingertips reach towards the ceiling. And then exhale, come down, switch hands. So left hand below the nose, right hand on the right hip. Turn towards the right. You can leave your hand on your hip, or you can bring the right hand to reach towards the ceiling. And we'll go ahead and bring the hands down. And then make sure the weight is even between your feet. Place your hands on your hips and bring yourself back up to standing. And then go ahead and step to the front of the mat. And we're going to do just a couple sun salutation V's. So again, you're going to stand with your feet hip width apart or big toes can touch. We're going to inhale and sink into chair pose. So like you're sitting in a chair. You want to make sure you can still see your toes. You don't want your knees so far forward that you can't see your toes. And actually pick your toes up. That really helps to make sure your weight is mostly in the heels where they should be. You can bring the arms up alongside the ears. One more breath here. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, lower down to tabletop or chaturanga. Inhale, up to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Then we'll inhale, lift that right foot up off the mat, and exhale, place it in between the hands. Keep the back heel of the left foot lifted. You can keep your hands here on the mat, or maybe bring them up to your bent knee. Or you can bring your arms up alongside your ears. If your hip flexor is really tight, feel free to lean forward with your torso. You don't have to crank yourself all the way back here. Then exhale, fold forward. Step back to downward facing dog. Then we'll inhale, lift the left foot off the mat. Exhale, bring it forward. Again, feel free to stay here if you'd like. You can bring your hands to the bent knee here. You can bring them up alongside your ears. Keep pressing through that back heel. Make sure your left knee is tracking over that left ankle. And then exhale, lower the hands down, step back to downward facing dog. You can also lower into child's pose if you'd like. Then we'll inhale, step the feet up in between the hands. Lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Then we're going to inhale, we're going to lower into chair pose, bring the arms up alongside the ears. Then exhale to stand up and bring the hands to heart center. Take a moment here, feel free to close your eyes. All right, let's see. All right. And then we'll do one more round of sun salutation B here. So we're going to inhale, lower down to chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, lower down to tabletop. And all the way to the mat or chaturanga. Inhale, up to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. So we'll inhale, lift the right foot up off the mat. Exhale, place it in between the hands. This time you're going to place the left foot down at a 45-degree angle. Again, you can stay here if you feel unstable. You can bring your hands up to the bent knee, or you can bring your arms up alongside your ear. This is warrior one. So you want to make sure your hips are tracking forward. You want to really engage the right glute to help support that right hip. And you want to extend through that left foot all the way down to the floor. And then exhale, fold forward. Step back to downward facing dog. Then we'll inhale, lift the left foot up in the air. Exhale, place it in between the hands. Place the right foot down at a 45-degree angle. You can stay here. Bring your hands up to that bent knee. Or bring your arms up alongside your ears. And then exhale, fold forward, step back to downward facing dog or child's pose. And then we'll inhale, step the feet up to the top of the mat. Lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. And then we're going to inhale, lower our bottoms into chair pose, sweep the arms up alongside the ears. Take a breath here. And then exhale, stand up. And bring the hands to heart center. Take a few breaths here, standing. And next, we're gonna, you don't have to have a strap, but if you have one, it might be handy. It doesn't even need to be looped like this one is. I'm gonna undo this one. And if you'd like, if you've got a wall to stand up against for this standing pose, feel free to find a wall if you need. As you can see, I don't really have that in this space, so feel free to stand. You would stand with your backside up against the wall if you need. And again, just listen to your body. Don't let your ego take over. And if you're feeling a little unstable this evening, then by all means, use what you need to make your practice happen. So I'm gonna take the strap and I'm gonna place it underneath the arch of my foot. And then I'm gonna start just with my heel on the mat. I'm gonna firm my outer left hip in towards the midline of my body. So kind of squeezing that glute muscle. And then I'm gonna begin to lift my right leg up off the mat. So if you feel unsteady, you can always just stay right here. Bring it up as far as you can to keep your balance. Maybe you can bring it all the way up in front of you. Then go ahead and lower it down. Take a couple breaths. And then we're going to lift the leg back up, and this time we're going to move it out to the right. So for this one, if you don't have a strap, maybe you could just start by bringing your knee up to your chest and then opening out to the right. But if you'd like to do the full leg, we're going to lift the right leg up in front of us and then bring it out to the right any amount. Remember to breathe here. We want to be firming that glute in. We want to be pulling the belly button in towards the spine to help with our stability. Then exhale, you can lower the leg down. Feel free to shake the legs out. So this pose is particularly helpful to actually strengthen the hip flexors, which are in the front of the leg. So we'll place the strap underneath the left leg this time. Again, feel free to stand up against the wall if that works best for you. We want to firm the right outer hip in towards the midline. Place our right hand on our right hip. Can begin with the left heel on the mat. Bring the foot up any amount. And then exhale, lower down. Feel free to shake the leg out, and then we'll go over to the left side. So again, you can just bring that left knee in and then open it to the side. Or if you'd like the full leg, we're going to bring the left leg up and then open out to the left. Then exhale, lower down. And then we're going to go ahead and get down on our mats. And we'll set ourselves up for bridge pose. So if you have a block, I would recommend you're going to lay down on your back and you want your heels underneath your knees. And then if you have a block, go ahead and place it in between your thighs. So you should be able to kind of reach your heels with your fingertips stretched out alongside your body. We're going to take an inhale. We're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Remember to breathe here. We're going to exhale, lower down. And then we'll do one more. Inhale, lift the hips up. Squeeze the block. Press the hands down on the mat. And then we'll exhale, lower down. You can move the block out of the way. You can pull your knees into your chest. And feel free to rock from side to side here. And then we'll go ahead and do a figure 4 stretch. So we're going to take the right ankle and place it on the left knee. Maybe place your right hand on your right thigh and press it away from your body or your hips, away from your torso or your head. If you feel a nice stretch in your outer hip here, you can stay here. Or you can bring your left knee in towards your head and place your hands clasped around the back of your left thigh. Be sure to flex both feet in this position. It helps protect the knees. And we'll exhale, lower down. And then we're going to switch sides. So again, left ankle on right thigh. Press the left thigh away from you. Or you can bring the right thigh up towards you and clasp your fingers around that leg and pull it in towards your head. And remember to flex both feet. And then exhale, lower everything down. And then we'll go ahead and get set up in Shavasana or corpse pose. So this is where you basically lie on your mat. You let your legs kind of splay open. You let your hands out to the sides. Maybe roll the shoulder blades in towards the spine to kind of flatten out the upper back. If you do have any tightness in your low back, I definitely recommend using either a sofa cushion or this is a bolster. You could also just roll up your blanket and place it underneath your knees. If you have another blanket or a pillow, you might want to place that underneath your head just to help support the neck a little bit more. And I like to place a blanket over my hips. It just helps me feel a little bit more grounded. So go ahead and set yourself up, whatever's going to let you be the most comfortable. We're going to be here for a few minutes. So just settle in on the mat, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out of the pose. So sometimes we get busy with our practice or with our day, and we kind of lose track of taking time to rest, taking time to pause. Shavasana is actually really critical to helping the good things that your body has experienced to really integrate into throughout your body, your entire body, down to the cellular level. Really just allow that energy to flow through all parts of you. So I really encourage you, even if you're really busy right now, to take time. You've done a great job with your practice so far, so it's really important to take that time, to take that pause. Maybe express gratitude towards yourself for setting aside this time to practice. So just allow yourself to settle in on the mat. Maybe you even feel like you're kind of melting into the floor. That's okay. Allow your mat to support you. You're supported by the earth. You're supported by the floor underneath you. You're not going to go anywhere. Just allow yourself to be held in this position for a few minutes. And if you feel like your mind is kind of racing again, just bring it back to the breath. Maybe just count each of your inhales and exhales. Begin to lengthen your inhales and your exhales. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. When you're ready, go ahead and roll over to your right side. Take a couple breaths here. And then bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You can keep your eyes closed here. Maybe bring your hands together at heart center. I encourage you to express gratitude towards yourself for carving out and holding space for your own practice this evening. My hope is that you've been able to burn off some of those excess thoughts and energies that no longer serve you, and that your practice may prepare you for the rest of your evening and the week ahead. Sending you so much gratitude for practicing with me this evening. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. So thanks for joining me this evening. Hopefully this practice was helpful and supportive to you. Again, we'll have class Wednesday night, same time. It might, again, only be 30 or 45 minutes instead of a full hour. And I'll be sending a survey out soon to kind of get more feedback on what people need, types of classes, length of time, those kinds of things. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, and hopefully we'll see you later this week. Thank you. Bye.